This is the Anarchist coming to you from the dark side of the moon. Now, I'm actually staying at the Marriott, Residence Inn at the Marriott. A viewer was actually very kind enough to actually buy me a week here. So I've been staying here, and actually it's been a great stay. Now, I wanted to move things over to something a little more serious because even as nice as this place is, and it's really freaking nice here. I've been here almost a whole week now. It's been very pleasant, but I'm still prepared to go roguing again. And just to let you know, hotels are a great way to rogue from place to place without being tracked down and actually like being known, like establishing an actual like residency. Because that's how they also try to get you, is you got to do 30 days like and make you do the residency, which I'll try to make a video about that too in the future, because I can explain about a lot of that stuff. Now, I wanted to move on into my investigation at the at one of the local prisons that are around here. To begin, a lot of people, and I know there's a lot of people out there who have either been in jail or had a loved one who's been in jail. Everybody should know like how tough that is. Even if somebody did something wrong, they're still a human being. So I just want to bring this conversation in a way that will show you why we need to tear down the prison systems. And they don't need to exist. So, for example, this local prison that I go to go visit my loved one in there, they outsourced a lot of their services. Meaning, like, the people that work there don't even do a lot of the jobs that they were supposed to be doing when they got the job in the first place. So, for example, commissary. Commissary has been outsourced to a third-party company. This one locally here is actually called Keefe Network. Keefe Network. Look that up. They're a multi-million-dollar corporation that sells a whole bunch of junk food to our people in prison. So they use a lot of mainstream products, and they're really bad for you, like ramen noodles and potato chips and stuff like that. And they try to make it sound like, oh, well, they're in this jail, and this is actually the best thing that they can get. And, you know, this is the closest comfort that they're going to have. But they don't get any choice. And you're going to sit there and tell me, well, Ann, they're in prison. They don't get a choice. Well, that's bullshit, because if you were in jail even for one day, you would sit there and say, I do not deserve to be treated like this. Even if you did something wrong and you know you did something wrong, you would sit there and say, you don't deserve to be treated like that. You're a human being. And yeah, you may have done something inhumane like the people who wound up in there. But at the end of the day, that's not how you solve or fix all the problems that are going on in here. You don't lock people up like animals. You're going to treat them like an animal. They're going to keep acting like an animal. That's why all these people who get released from jail, they go right back to doing the same thing that they were doing that got them in there in the first place. So obviously prevention doesn't work, or their version of what prevention is. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Obviously, whatever issue needed to be resolved did not get resolved, whether if it was for the person who committed the crime or the victim who they did it to. That's why we all need to start looking up restorative justice. This bullshit that we are in is called adversarial justice. It's where everyone's against each other. Restorative justice makes both parties whole again. So whoever was the victim and whoever was the aggressor, the restorative justice makes them both whole. And you have to understand the concept of that, because that's a very deep and spiritual thing. That's a healing factor. And a lot of people think that they don't deserve to be healed, but they're, of course, in need of heal. They are in a grave amount of suffering. You know, the fact that they're in jail is just the external suffering, the environmental suffering. But you imagine how much they must be suffering on the inside, knowing the injustice that they have caused to themselves? I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people think about that. And none of you guys could really imagine being in their shoes because you sit there and think, well, I don't really fuck up like that. And so it's like you have no empathy whatsoever. You have you're not acting like a human being anymore. You just think you're free. You just think you're just another slave walking down the street saying, do a diddy. Yeah, pretty much. I love seeing people when they leave their houses and stuff. I always wonder, like, where are they going and what are they going to do for the day? See what slave menial work they're going to do for the day. Anyway, let's get back to jails. On top of the commissary being outsourced, they outsource their telephone calls too, so they get to extort millions of dollars from their loved ones. Not so much the inmate themselves. The inmate has no way of making money, and even if they're making any money in the jail, it's only like $1.75 a fucking day. What is that going to really buy them? What is that going to really do for them? Other than they might trade it for drugs. I don't know. Shit still gets into jail somehow. So, but here's the thing. What makes this prison system a direct threat to your rights as a free citizen? They are a direct violation of the First Amendment right. How so? Well, think about it like this. The inmate, you think, they don't really deserve to have their First Amendment right defended. They don't really need to have, you know, they fuck that up. You get to take their rights away, which, I sad to say, people, you can't do that. I can't do that. System should not be doing that, because nobody has the right to take away your rights, ever. Even if it's in a wrongdoing. Like, come on. This is all common freaking sense. This is how nature intended it to be, and we just think we're God, and we can go around and judge people and take away their rights. So they're in direct violation of our First Amendment right, because even though they're trying to withhold the prisoner from having, like, communication, don't you think they're also in direct threat of you, the person who wants to have communication with that other person in jail? So, for example, like, my boyfriend who's in jail right now, he can't even contact, like, he could call me as long as I establish, like, some type of credit debit card online and keep putting money in the account and keep keeping it there. But he could call me, but I can't call him whenever I want, even though I'm on the outside. I'm out and about doing my own fucking thing. I'm the free person, right? No, I can't call him whenever I want to see if he's okay, to make sure he's still alive and stuff like that, because that's, you know, my job, you know, as, you know, a support, especially for support. But he could call me at certain times of the day. Now, here's the thing. They're telling me who I have a right to speak to. Does not make any sense at this moment. It doesn't sit right. Like, I think about this all the time. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I had nothing to do with the crime, but yet my right as a free person is being infringed on by some third-party company who thinks that they have the right to tell me who I have a right to talk to. Now, the only person who's got a right to let me talk to them is my boyfriend. He's the only one who could terminate communications between me and him. And I think that's how it goes for most of society, you know. I figured that would be, like, common fucking sense, you know. If you're it's A-B conversation, and the government or the prison system don't want to see their way out at all. This call will be monitored. This call is going to be limited. You only got 1 minute left. They can go fuck themselves. I can't wait to burn places like them down. They have no right to kidnap people. They have no right to hold them for ransom. And they definitely have no right to infringe upon my right or anybody else's right to communication either, even the inmates themselves. If we were truly a free society, why are we still wanting it? Why are we still wishing that we were more free? Do you really think that you're free? And to be honest, I think the inmates are a lot more freer than we are because they don't have to do a goddamn thing most of the time. They're just there. And we're here. So I'm going to end this in a way to bring something positive to the table. Places like this don't need to exist. We don't need their systems to solve our problems. Like I said, there's something called restorative justice. Read it. Look it up. Present your arguments to me. So, you have yourself a good morning. This is Anarchist coming to you from the dark side of the moon. And check me out on Wham Radio. Please upload playlists and stuff like that on my page so I can make a playlist on my YouTube channel. And it will appear on my YouTube channel and we'll feature it on an episode of Wham Radio. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys later.